Hi guys, today I'm tackling another section of lawn in my ongoing transformation, turning this grassy area into no-dig garden beds. I'll be clearing and levelling the space, laying down cardboard for weed suppression, adding a clean edge by the path, and creating a simple template frame to keep everything neat and organised. Then it's compost, mulch pathways, and another step closer to converting this entire lawn into a productive garden. Let me show you exactly how I'm doing it. I started by removing these trees along the fence. This will make it much easier to lay the cardboard down, and eventually I'll run a raised bed the whole way along this fence. I dug out the lemon tree and moved it to a potting bag for now. The other lemon tree I moved in my garden transformation video, linked above, isn't looking too flash, so this might end up being its replacement. Once that was done, I noticed the fence was looking a bit rough, so I straightened it up and added a 140mm construction screw to pull it back together. Next was laying down the cardboard. I started by levelling the lawn along the edge of the path, so my edging would sit nicely, then laid down a good layer of cardboard over the entire area to help with weed suppression, making sure there were no gaps. Some of these boxes have compostable tape on them, which I've never seen before. I left it on as I'm interested to see how it breaks down. I then added some edging along the pathway, mainly just to stop the mulch from spilling out onto the path. I measured up what I needed, cut some miters, then knocked in a couple of pegs and attached them to the edging to hold it all in place. I started by marking 1 meter off the fence and roughly 300mm from the edging, so I'd know exactly where I want my compost to go. The frame I built is 750mm wide. I got this idea from Richard Perkins. It's wide enough for 2 rows of plants, but narrow enough to comfortably step over. For the beds, I'm using compost I made, linked to that video above. The bay on the right is almost ready to use, but the bay on the left is still pretty hot. I won't be planting anything until the spring, so these beds will sit for about 3 months. That should give the compost plenty of time to break down a bit more. You can see I added some boards as spacers to measure how wide I wanted the pathways. I cut these at 450mm plus 50mm from the frame gives me a 500mm wide pathway. I then added compost inside the frame up to the marks that I made off the fence and edging. The frame worked really well to keep the compost in nice uniform rows. This is how things were looking about halfway through. I was really happy with how the beds were turning out. At this point, I ran out of the compost that I'd made, so I mixed the last of the compost from my first no-dig garden with about half a cube of leaf mold that I'd been given, and I used that to fill in the last bed. With the cardboard down and all of the compost in place, this is how the no-dig beds were looking. I'm really happy with how the frame worked. It made it easy to space the pathways correctly, kept the beds nice and straight, and made sure they were about the same depth at roughly 150mm. Alright, so the last step is adding mulch to the pathways between the beds. I picked up about 1.3 cube of the stuff for around 30 bucks a cube. I'm laying it down pretty thick, but I should still have enough left over to do my raised beds area as well. Link to that video is above. And there you go, this is how the area is looking with the beds in and the mulch down. You can see I haven't added mulch right up to the fence because I'll be adding raised beds along there at some point, and I don't want a bunch of mulch in the way. The process for these no-dig beds is super simple, something anyone can really do, and I'm stoked with how they turned out. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll have plenty more content like this coming up in the future.